Welcome to our Sunday stream. So that was 3 minutes of just the best secrets to all of the universe. They were all they were all just given away. So anyway, so it's All Hallows Eve in 121 days. So that was the last of the major holidays between now and then, and so it's basically about a third of a year. So now we're into the hot months of the summer. We've got basically about 3 months until that first cool day of fall when, you just feel the chill in the air. And, we're by that time, we will have all been waiting on it for quite a while. So basically, what is going on with our government? What is going on with our country? We had a really good 4th of July. We enjoyed it, shot some fireworks off, hung out with a couple of neighbors and, just kind of, did the thing, which we enjoyed it quite a bit. We're very patriotic here. My grandfather was military. My dad was military. I attempted the military. I don't think having people tell me what to do was ever a good idea. But so we have a nice we have about a third of a year where we're going to be in the truly hot, oppressive months, and we have one Sabbath between now and then. What is it again? Lammas. So we have Lammas. It's at the end of the month. But that's not now. Like I said, the real time that everybody's counts towards, and and we've got to do some preparations this year. We're actually going to start having a Krampus out, and Krampus is going to come out during the Samhain or Halloween holiday, and he'll stay out until the end of Christmas. So we got him last year. We got the outfit and one of the mannequin guys, and we'll be setting him up soon. And so basically, like, right now is just a really good time to kind of let your crops grow. It's not harvest time. It's a good time to just start getting some stuff done. There's no real plans. There's, of course, enjoy your weekends and, observe, a day of rest and, do those things. But I just kind of feel like everything has, kind of developed and came up till now. And it's just a good time to, be with family and friends and have a picnic and go enjoy the outdoors and just celebrate God. So, and I'm kind of impartial to that. I think that anytime that you can go quiet your mind and listen to your soul, I think that that's always a good thing. So, but like I said, it was a good weekend, and it was a good holiday weekend. It's a good long weekend. We went out for breakfast, and then we went out for lunch, and we tried 2 new places. Neither one was a success. They were overpriced and underserved. So we will not be going to those places again. But we gave them a try. They were new places, so you gotta try doing that sometimes. And you don't know what you like if you don't try anything. So we gave 2 places a try yesterday, and we will not be returning. What else do we need to get into? The weekend review. So they had a big bill that's supposed to be the America getting back to what it's good at or whatever. I don't really know. Supposed to be lots of good things in this bill. We'll see. I really feel like we're in a holding pattern to see, if the other shoe's going to drop, if people are going to try to screw us over, whatever. I think that these non-elected government officials, I think that they are the issue, and we really should be trying to get them out of off the job, I guess, but like I said, it's one of those things that you kind of just mind blown, lost to the fact that like these people are getting away with this stuff. So but I mean, neither here nor there. I mean, it affects my life in that they're making the rules that I have to live by, but it's not something that I have to deal with on the daily. So, that's the thing, is that I think that we're just not designed to see all these issues and all the world's problems and all that stuff. And I think that that's a big problem with a lot of this stuff, is that we just shouldn't be seeing all of it. So I guess what we really need to do is turn our phones off and quit watching all the crap. It really is the worst. The worst of the worst is what you're seeing. So one moron does something, and then we feel like it's being done constantly. And then, somebody there living their best life, and we feel like we're missing out. So I really don't know how I'm benefiting from so much social media. I know that I can, if I want to learn how to, take an alternator out of a car, I can watch somebody do it, and, that's good. And if I want to learn something, there's lots of, like books on audio, and those are good, but that's like reading a book. But the actual social media aspect, like all these personalities and, just people just talking. I don't get it. I think that our attention is, I think that it's being manipulated. I think that, we need to quiet ourselves down and go back to God and come to realize that we don't need constant entertainment. We don't need just noise. I don't think that we're designed for that. I think that we really do need to learn to quiet ourselves down, and and that's the thing, is that I know that's a really hard thing for me to, I like the TV on, the radio, and probably, some podcast playing, and just constant, craziness. And I like it because I'm not bored, but then I also don't get anything done. If I'm listening to music, I can do some stuff. But if I'm listening to a podcast and I'm engaged in the podcast, that's all I'm doing. So I think that we have to learn that fine line. We need to, turn it off for a day, or try to see if we can go without it. And then, maybe like start putting some limits on it. Because it does cause just anxiety and stress and stuff like that. And, if somebody gave me a pill and they said, hey, this is going to take up all your attention and give you anxiety and stress, about the third time that I took the damn thing, I go, I don't want that damn thing no more. Like, I don't want this. I want, like, just to be able to think freely and do my own thing and not be stressed. And I've only recently gotten TikTok. I like it in that I'm not just taking all the stories. I like, I can look up, like canine training, and, I like fight videos. I like, Ultimate Fighting Champion, or like the slap ones and stuff like that. I like my violence. I think that it's a good outlet. It's good entertainment, but, how much of that stuff do you really want to watch? But like I said, it's just entertainment. So, there's I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that we just need to make sure that that's not all we're doing. If you're able to listen to it, just go audio and then still like do a job or something like that. If you were like a welder, I don't see a problem with just listening to podcasts all day while you're sitting there welding. You don't really have to think about welding while you're doing it. So, but however, if you're doing something like repairing a car that you've never worked on before, you might not want all your attention spread out. So anyway, all right, let's like I said, today was more 4th of July themed, so we had the big thing going off and all that stuff. And like I said, today is just God's day. It's 121 days until the next big holiday. I mean, we have some for the Sabbats, but Halloween, looking forward to Halloween. And we're thinking about doing a little bit more decorations or something as far as that holiday, those holidays. So we need to try to think about that. I was thinking about maybe doing some, you can do the big plywood. You go get some pressure treated plywood and you screw some stakes into it so you can stick that, and you cut it out into shape with a reciprocating saw. And you paint it and make it look good, and maybe put some LEDs on it. And I was thinking about maybe doing a few of those this year. So maybe we'll have a project or two of that kind of stuff. We just finally got back into a truck, so that way we can do our projects and stuff. And we're planning on starting those soon, and hopefully it'll be a good thing. So, but all right, let's go ahead and do a ceremonial fire, and then we will kick it over to Old Nutty. And I like to have some music playing, so because I don't like dead air. So instead of looking for something to say, I can just listen to the music. Music, we love music. But that's 15 minutes, so let's do the ceremonial fire, and we'll go from there. All right. So now, hear me. Let's say a little quick prayer and get a fire started, and then we will turn the old music on. Yeah, I'm still looking at. I don't like my. So I grew my beard 3 years, 3 days, and then only recently did I just shave it back off. And I want to figure out like what I'm thinking about cutting the hair too. We cut a big piece of it off, and I don't like my appearance right now. Old Nutty's back there going, oh great. So, but all right, let's get this ceremony fire. All right, so we're going to do some Biblical Corpus reading, and I'm going to go ahead and switch this over. Transition camera. Go. All right, and thank you, YouTube. But we want to play a little music. So God bless y'all.